In this video blog, we're going to have a look at how to kind of get yourself out of a rut. The first thing we're going to do is write everything down. Before you even pick up your guitar, you're going to write things down. Whether you're stuck on chord sequences or on the structure, what I want you to do is get a piece of paper and write down what you normally do. And then we're going to think of ways that you can change this and mix it up a little. So let's start with structure. Write down the structure of the songs that you tend to write in, be it verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus, solo, whatever's in there. Put it all down in a list. Then what we're going to do is add little sections in, be they instrumentals, extra bridges, key change, anything like that. Put it in there and create a new structure. Also, listen to the songs that you like and listen to the songs that influence you in your genre. And how do they do it? How do the experts do it? Now we're going to look at chords. Now if you're stuck writing on the same kind of chord sequence every time, this is where we're going to have to write down lots of different chord sequences. Write them down all in the same key or using numbers if that's how you do it, so that they can all relate back to each other. Let's say, for instance, if you were stuck on a 1, 5, 6 minor, 4 chord sequence, which in the key of G would be a G, D, E minor to C, then we want to create different chord sequences, but of course in the key of G they're going to be based around these chords anyway. So we could have a G to D to E minor, stay on the E minor, and we can also mix it up in that way. So you could also have a G to E minor, C to D. So in numbers, that would be 1, 6 minus, 4, 5. Now your chord sequence doesn't have to be just 4 chords. You could have something like 1, 5, 6 minus. Then the second time round, you have 1, 5, 4. So you can mix things up like that as well. So get them all written down and let's see what you come up with. Okay, so now we've got it all written down, we're going to kind of go back to the first chord sequence we looked at, the 1, 5, 6 minus 4. And we're going to look at how we can make this a little bit more interesting on its own. And then we can take these kind of principles and add them into any kind of chord sequence. The first thing we're going to do is have a look at adding a 7 chord in there. So the chord sequence we're going to play now is going to be a 1, a 5, which is going to be the 7 chord, so it's going to be a 5, 7, a 6 minus to a 4. So it sounds like this. So there's not a great deal of difference there, but this 7 chord does kind of mix it up a little. Another thing we can do is kind of have a note in there, which in this key is going to be the D note. Now this, by altering a few chords, will kind of create a nice tone all the way through. So what we're going to do is play the G chord, which is the 1. We're going to play 5, which is just going to be the standard major 5 chord. And then we're going to play the minor 7 chord. And then we're going to add the 9th into the 4 chord. So the chords we're actually going to play are going to be G, D, E minor 7, C add 9. Now it's not a C9 chord, a C9 chord would have the B flat in there as well. It's just a C add 9, like that. So let's listen to this. I'm going to kind of pick it a little, and this D is going to come out there nicely throughout this sequence. Okay, so now that we've got to grips with adding some extra notes in there and creating these different chords, we're going to have a look at changing things up by changing the time signature. Now this can change the feel massively of a piece from 4/4, which is kind of what most people and most pop songs are in at the moment, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If we were to change that into a time signature such as 6/8, where the beat is actually a dotted crotchet rather than a crotchet, you get a much different feel. And you get something like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we can mix this up even more. Now listen to this and then kind of see how it works together. So, now rewind this a little and count through. It's all in threes and it's all very simple. Yet all we are using is the same chords of that simple sequence, yet we've managed to create something entirely different. And that is exactly what you need to do when you're stuck like this. Experiment with different key signatures and time signatures. Another way to get around this kind of problem is to play the chords in different places on the guitar, which is going to be adding chord inversions. Now we're going to do a whole blog on chord inversions, so if you're not quite sure how to invert your chords, then don't worry, because we will be doing this again. Now take the G chord here. So we'll stick with the same chord sequence. Now we can start with the G here, and the D, and the E minor, and the C. So we can end up with this. Now that has a much different feel as well. You got all these high notes, and it's definitely working there. Now we can also add a capo. Now for the key of G here, if we add it at the 5th fret, we end up with a G, which is played in a D shape. So we end up with a D to an A shape, which is the D chord. A B minor shape gives you the E chord, and the G shape gives you the C chord. So you end up like this. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this useful. There are more blogs coming, and if you have any specific question or comments on this, you can contact us on social media on Facebook, Twitter at Right Hit Songs.